Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, and so that means another edition of Friday Fragments. I got my coffee, I got my book, and so let's get started. I'm Gail of Ticket Anywhere, which you should know by now if you watch my blog at all. This meme is hosted by James over at Bookchic, and I'll post the URL somewhere. It's a meme where we take one of our current reads or one of our favorite books and we read a little excerpt of it. I just finished my current read and kind of determining between a couple of books to see what I'll read next. Salvaged and Where the Truth Lies are currently top contenders, just so Erica over at the bookseller will stop yelling at me to read them. So while I determine what to read next, I am going to read from The Rise of Renegade X by Chelsea Campbell. I read this earlier this year and absolutely loved it. Brilliant book filled with lots of snark, wit, funny, humor. Really needs a sequel, so go out and buy lots of copies so we can get one because I need more Damien Locke. If you haven't heard about this book, it's about a boy who's been raised as a supervillain, and he learns on his 16th birthday that his dad is a superhero, and so he has to go live with his hero side of the family for a couple of months, couple of weeks, something like that. And so he still is trying to kind of hold on to his supervillain self, but he has a little bit of superhero tendencies too, so it's been causing some conflict. Anywho, let's get started. This is one of my favorite scenes. There are a lot, so it was really hard to choose, and I hope you enjoy it. Kidnapped. I have been kidnapped by a madman in tights and a cape. We're on the roof of the tallest building in Golden City. There's us, the little room that houses the stairwell, and nothing but roof and a long drop in every direction. I cling to the stairwell house, the one we just came through. Too bad the door is now locked. Thanks to Gordon. We didn't think we need to go back that way. I do not have words for what I want to do to Gordon, my loving father right now. He's dressed as the Crimson Flash, the world's moralist superhero, and no one thought to stop him as he dragged a 16-year-old boy through the streets of Golden City going, "It's okay to be nervous. I was nervous my first time too." It's hard to take the plunge, but before you know it, you're going to be enjoying the ride. Why couldn't anybody have taken that out of context and saved me? I wonder what his precious League Treaties rules are on hauling people up to the top of Golden City banking and finances, the tallest building in town, known for the number of people who commit suicide by flinging themselves off the top, than for its banking skills, and throwing them to their doom. I hate Amelia. Hate her so much. Come on, Damien. The Crimson Flash's cape whips around in the wind. He holds his hand out to me. Screw him. You know what he can do with this whole flying thing? He can take it and shove it up his kitty-saving ass. Put that on TV. Hey, kids, you know what your hero really does? Tortures people. He thinks he's so much better than supervillains, but at least my mom wouldn't try to kill me. Accidentally nick me with her lasers once in a while, and maybe sometimes on purpose. But not this. Gordon grabs my arm. This is the only way. How can you be certain I have the ability? I have to shout to be heard over the wind. I could die. Mom's not going to be happy about that. You think you don't get along with her now? Wait until you have to tell her you're the reason her only son's never going to walk again. Wait until you have to ask her if I wanted to be cremated or not. Because I probably should be, given the state of the body. He takes a deep breath. Acts like he's trying to get a little kid to ride their bike without training wheels for the first time. I won't let you get hurt. You just have to trust me, Damien. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I putting you off for not trusting you when you are about to throw me off a freaking building? He bends down so we're at eye level. I'm not that much shorter than him, but the way I'm cringing and hugging the wall makes it hard to stand up straight. Damien, he says, I'm certain you have the power. His voice sounds like it's on fire. He's so damn sure, he's so noble about it, even though he has no reason to think that. My father had it before me, and his father before him, who come from a long line of flyers. I know you're a little reluctant to... Puts his hand on my shoulder. I jump at his touch. That's how skittish I am. I'm not stupid, he says. I know what this means for you. If you can fly well, then that might mean you'll grow up to be a superhero. Villain, all the way. Don't try to talk me out of it. I barely know what I'm saying. I just hope you'll shut up and let me go home. Not in a box, if you know what I mean. I could just tell Gordon about my feelers about being up here, but he probably wouldn't listen. He's so set on me following in his tight-wearing footsteps. Plus, the last thing in the world I'm going to do is to admit to Gordon I'm afraid of anything, let alone that I have a phobia about heights. It's personal information. He's known me for a little over a week. He hasn't earned the right to know. I'll just have to talk him out of it. Even if you don't become a hero, villains aren't going to take you seriously if you can fly. I hate to say this, but even Mariana, you leave her out of this. Mom doesn't care about my thumb or my abilities or any of that. That's all you and your cape-fearing family. Except that Mom would love it if I got a V. She'd probably cry her eyes out for days if I screwed up and somehow got an H. Gordon chews his lip, his head bent. There comes a time when you have to face the truth. You're half hero, whether you like it or not. He grabs me and drags me toward the edge. I shut my eyes and dig my heels into the floor. I squint at him at the approaching ledge and feel my breakfast coming up. My insides are weak, like I've lived off Jell-O my whole life. I want to be dead. I want my life to stop right there and fade into nothingness. I shout at Gordon, sprouting off random, barely coherent nonsense. Mostly about how much I hate Amelia, peppered with classics as, I'll never forgive you and you're going to regret this. I'm dizzy and panicked, and I think I might be foaming at the mouth. This is my worst nightmare. I must say something about that in my ramblings because suddenly Gordon stops. He says, all serious and worried, "Why didn't you tell me you had a fear of—" And then it's too late, because the ledge lurches out from under me. I'm hurtling through space, and it's exhilarating or wonderful or anything that isn't terrifying. Gordon makes it to dive down after me, but his cape whips in front of his face and gets caught on his head. I laugh. I'm going to die, and maybe he'll disown Amelia for her lying treachery. Well, probably not. Maybe my mom will murder Gordon, or maybe she'll end up back in the sack with him. It's not like they were anything but enemies before. Why should this be any different? They'll replace me. Maybe Helen will find out and divorce Gordon, and won't be sorry that when he doesn't push Amelia off her building in a couple of months. Rows and rows of windows rush past me. Everything's a blur. I'm going to die. I'm going to freaking die. Gordon finally gets the cape off his head and dives after me. He speeds to the air, pulling his arms in close to his body. He's gaining on me, but he's not going to make it. The look of horror on Gordon's face tells me the ground is getting too close. His mouth twists in agony, his eyes squeeze shut like he can't stand to watch. He forces them open again, reaching out its arm to me, even though there's only about 10 feet between us, and the gap is closing. He seems impossibly far away. I hear cars and smell their exhaust and the hot dogs from the vendor on the corner. I hear screams and oohs and ahs, and this is it. And then? And that's where I'm going to stop. This is the rise of Renegade X. If you want to know if he survives his fall off the building, then go forth, read more. Very, very good book. One of my top picks of the year. Hope you enjoyed this Fragment Friday, Fragment, whatever it is, and I will see you next week.